What is going on, everybody, and welcome back into Barlow Studios. Let's start a new painting series. Now, if you remember, I made Charmander not too long ago. He turned out absolutely incredible, and now we're going to start another one. And in this video, I'm going to be using a soft charcoal pencil to go ahead and sketch out the overall kind of design that I want on the canvas. I'll start off with a very light touch here, and then I'll slowly, gradually increase the pressure to give it more defined lines. And yes, in this video, we are going to be making the Evee evolution Sylveon, the fairy Pokemon. Super exciting. I already made Charmander for my son, and I wanted to make a painting that my daughter had to open for Christmas. This is Christmas 2023, so looking forward to that. And this is just a very fun pink yet green background that we're going to kind of sketch out for her. Now, the original concept art for this was from a Pokemon card. I'll post that above. I think it's going to be a really good reference point for me to kind of just create just an awesome painting for her. I don't think that I'm going to make any prints of this, but if I do, then I'll kind of cross that bridge later on down the road. Now, I'm hoping to keep this very light, pink, and airy, and I don't want it to be too dark, but I also want to bring a little bit of darkness into the overall Sylveon silhouette and kind of bring my style into it just a little bit. Now, the original artist is Atsushi Furusawa. I hope I pronounced that right, and I'll also post that in text above. Now, during this discussion, of course, me and my wife discussed which Pokemon that she would like in her room, and I asked her which Pokemon she wanted, and I thought she was going to pick Vaporeon or maybe Glaceon, but she ended up choosing Sylveon. So it's very cool, very different. I didn't know that she was really into this Pokemon, but when I asked her kind of just offbeat from another conversation which one she would probably like, then this came up. I don't know a whole lot about this Pokemon, so it's kind of fun to do some research, and I'll kind of run into that in a minute, but I just want to make sure that I'm able to use that Pokemon illustration as just a reference, just to kind of get the overall anatomy right, as well as just have a guide to go off of. Now, I will kind of spin things off quite a bit and add my own artistic touch to a lot of the painting itself. So if I don't put the flowers in the exact same place, or if I don't add the kind of bag that I have in the left lower foot, yeah, I think that's supposed to be like a treat bag of some sort or something like that. If I don't add that, maybe I'll add like a Pokeball or something similar. That really just kind of adds my own little spin on the character, and kind of mixes things up a little bit. That way, I'm not painting the Pokemon illustration, verbatim. I don't want to do that. I want to kind of put my spin on it. I'll also make the color tones of Sylveon's fur and the ribbon-like tendrils that she has coming out from the bows probably a little bit darker than what she would be illustrated in the animation series or on any of the Pokemon cards. I do want to kind of dinge her out just a little bit, make her look like she's like been out in the wild quite a bit, and she's not some primed and premed Pokemon that's never seen any kind of dirt in her life, So that's my thing. I just want to kind of bring in my own little shading to it, and bring in some realism to it if I can. Now, I did do a little bit of research on the Pokemon itself, just because I haven't seen this portion of the Pokemon series a whole lot. I was one of the original series types of kids, so a lot of times when I watch Pokemon, I go back to the original first generation, and I know they've had so many generations since then, so many evolutions of even just the same original Pokemon. It's really cool how they're really just changing and transforming over time, and it's really good also just to see that Pokemon made a comeback over the last 10 years or so, and the next generation is able to enjoy that as well, whether it be in Pokemon Go or any kind of fandom art or the animation series or any of the movies also, I guess. Now, Sylveon is a quadruped mammalian Pokemon with a white colored fur covering most of its slender body. The top of its head is a vibrant shade of pink, and it has long rabbit-like ears with dark blue insides. Sylveon has a short, blunt, cat-like muzzle, that's interesting, and small black nose. So we'll make sure to make her nose not too large there, but also make her face kind of cat-like. So we'll do a little bit of shading around her face area. Sylveon's skin is arranged to form pink and white bows on its right ear and around its neck. Attached to the bow-like skin are also skin. It's not actually ribbon fabric or anything like that. So we'll blend that with the same kind of fur texture or shading. ribbon-like feelers with pink and blue tips that curl around Sylveon's body. I read somewhere else that they also will use those to hold the trainer's hand when they walk up and down the street. So that's interesting. I think I actually said that in the animation series during a battle. Blue tips that curl around her legs and her body. It has 4 slender legs, small dainty pink paws, and feet with 3 visible toes on each. Sylveon has 2 large blue eyes with white pupils, interesting, and 2 pointed teeth on its upper jaw, seen with its mouth in open position. It has a fluffy pink tail that curves upward, it says actually inward slightly, to form a crescent shape, possibly a reference to the moon phase. The shiny variation of Sylveon has an inverted coloration with blue and red fur replacing the pink patches and the blue in its ears, and reddish pink eyes. That will be very interesting to paint that. So maybe later on down the road, after I've done a few different types of Pokemon, maybe I'll loop back around if my daughter requests another version, and maybe I'll make a shiny version of this Pokemon. That would be kind of interesting. Or if somebody were to purchase something from me from Etsy and they wanted a shiny variation, then maybe I'll make one of those. But very interesting. I've never done any research on this Pokemon, so it's very interesting. Of course, I've always known that it existed as one of the Evee evolutions, but it's just interesting to kind of see it popping up. So as you can see, the sketch in general is starting to really come along now. Now, I did not speed this video up very much at all. I did restrain myself to 10 minutes in total just to try to keep it a short video. But I also wanted to give y'all a real-time video of just sometimes how long it takes me to kind of sketch out one of these little small canvases. Now, if I recall, this is a 10 by 8 canvas. This is a Master Touch deep canvas. I have really grown to love these canvases, and when you see the finished form with me painting the edges all around to the back, and then after I varnish it yet in another video, you can really see how it all comes together, and it really gives it a really professional grade quality canvas and piece of art towards the end of the process. Until then, you just gotta trust the process and just have fun creating. Making sure to make all of the portions of Sylveon really cascade around the canvas. Of course, with Charmander, he was more so in the middle, and then I had a bunch of trees kind of in an upward trajectory around him, as if we were looking up at him on his stump, or possibly where we had found him originally. If you haven't had the opportunity to see that video, then I'll post that above. Of course, I'll also post the Pokemon playlist at the very end of this video, so if you want to see some of the Pokemon that I've sculpted or painted, then you can see those. But this is just me just kind of getting an idea of the dimensions that I would like. This sketch does get wiped out in the background painting process when I'm putting a background down and just kind of getting some paint on the canvas. This canvas was gessoed with one thick, smooth layer, just to kind of feel in the teeth of the canvas. I do notice that when I do acrylic paintings, and hopefully oil here soon, that I don't like having to see the canvas through any of my paint layers. And by applying just at least one layer gesso to the canvas, it really does kind of just bring a higher quality of smoothness to it. And I really don't have to fight the things that I don't like when I'm painting. I know all other artists would completely understand that. It's just sometimes there's things that you're doing along the way in a painting process that are just hindering you. And painting on a rough surface is just something that I've always had struggled with, and I'm trying my best to overcome that problem by just taking the time to make sure I have a pretty decently smooth canvas. And if I have to put 1 or 2 layers on to kind of over the gesso to kind of smooth that out, then it's completely okay. But for the most part, I really do like having a finished smooth effect. The Master Touch canvases in themselves really do have they're so much a grade above the standard canvases that you can buy from Michaels, and I really do like how thick they are. I really do feel like they give more of an archival look. But if you want to do like a really nice a frame around it or something like that, then something thinner might be better for you. But I really do like how thick these are, and they really look good when they have a painted edge. I hope you guys have enjoyed this sketch. Now, although it is a simple sketch, I look forward to being able to overlay this with some beautiful Winsor & Newton acrylics. So make sure you smash that subscribe and notification bell, and I will see you in the next video of the Sylveon series.